her moods. I'd wanted to ask her about it all day, but Fern could be volatile when she was upset. I decided it was better to leave it alone. We'd been by the river an hour or so when nature called. Billy was showing no signs of getting out of the water, so I headed deep into the trees. There was no way I was going to let him see me pee. It was slow going. It was pitch black and I was barefoot. I had to watch every step I took. My fear of snakes didn't help matters. Still, I was gone for 5 minutes max. Apparently, that is all it takes. When I returned to the river, Fern was gone. "Fern," I called. "Where are you?" It was strange for her not to be in the spot I left her. It took me a minute to locate her, illuminated by a patch of moonlight in the shallows of the river. She was standing eerily still. Billy was nowhere to be seen. "What are you—" I took a step toward her and she lifted her hands. Before I could ask what was going on, something rose to the surface of the water beside her, a sliver of pale, unmoving flesh. "Fern," I whispered. "What have you done?" Fern. Every Tuesday morning at 10:15 a.m., I am stationed at the front desk of the Bayside Public Library. The front desk is usually my least favourite post, but on Tuesday mornings I make an exception so as to have a clear view to the circular meeting room where toddler rhyme time takes place. I enjoy toddler rhyme time, despite its obvious vexing qualities. The noise, the crowd, the unexpected direction a child's emotions can take at a moment's notice. Today, Linda, the children's librarian, is regaling the toddlers with a vehement retelling of The Three Little Pigs. Imaginatively, she has chosen to forego reading the book and is instead acting the story out, alternately donning a fluffy wolf's head and a softer, squidgy-looking pig's head with pale blue eyes and a protruding snout. At intervals, Linda emits an impressively realistic-sounding pig's squeal, so shrill and penetrating that it makes my toes curl in my sneakers. The children, on the whole, appear enraptured with Linda's recital, the only exceptions being a newborn screaming wildly on its mother's shoulder, and a little boy in an orange jumper who covers his ears and buries his face in his grandmother's lap. I too am absorbed in the performance, so much so that it takes me several seconds to register the woman with pointy coral fingernails who has appeared at the desk, clutching a stack of books against her hip. I roll my ergonomic chair slightly to the right, so I can still see the children, who are now helping Linda blow down an imaginary house of straw. But distractingly, the woman moves with me, huffing and fidgeting and finally clearing her throat. Finally, she clicks her fingernails against the desk. "Excuse me?" "Excuse me?" I repeat, rolling the statement around in my head. It feels unlikely that she is actually asking to be excused. After all, patrons are free to come and go as they please in the library. They don't have to ask for the privilege. It's possible, I suppose, that she's asking to be excused for impoliteness, but as I didn't hear her belch or fart, that also seems improbable. As such, I conclude she has employed the odd social custom of asking to be excused as a means of getting a person's attention. I open my mouth to tell her that she has my attention, but people are so impatient nowadays, and she cuts me off before I can speak. "Do you work here?" she asks rudely. Sometimes the people in this library can be surprisingly dense. For heaven's sake, why would I be sitting behind the desk, wearing a name badge, if I didn't work here? That said, I acknowledge that I don't fit the stereotypical mold of a librarian. For a start, at 28, I'm younger than the average librarian, 45 according to Librarian's Digest, and I dress more fashionably and colourfully than the majority of my peers. I'm partial to soft, bright t-shirts, sparkly sneakers, and long skirts or overalls emblazoned with rainbows or unicorns. I wear my hair in 2 braids, which I loop into a bun above each ear. Not a reference to Princess Leia, though I do wonder if she found the style as practical as I do for keeping long hair out of your face when you are a woman with things to do. And yet, I am most definitely a librarian. "Are you going to serve me, young lady?" the woman demands. "Would you like me to serve you?" I ask patiently. I don't